Hi. I thought we'd spend this month talking a little bit about some of the trends I think that are going to start to influence the pace at which the metaverse and the mixed reality type of experiences, third dimension experiences, is going to influence and perhaps accelerate, and how it might bleed its way or transition its way into the corporate space. I think what we're seeing right now in general in many aspects of our life is kind of a shift, if you will, into defining moments is from physical to digital, almost like a dematerialization in a sense, from places to spaces. And what I mean by that is, once upon a time there was, and actually still to this day, right, to a large extent, there's this concept of where are you from, right? We can start a conversation, where are you from? And if you were from a specific country or a specific region, you could probably tell quite a lot about that person because the experiences that they would have would be very specific to that region, and what they would be exposed to, their influences, most importantly, would also be contained in that region. But what we're having right now is, especially with technology, that's no longer the case. The influences that we experience is the influences that shape who we are, especially for the young generation. Much of that's held in technology and phones. And this concept of, where are you from, and those formative experiences that are going to shape who you are, over time, I believe, are going to shift more and more into, what you experience digitally. And so this concept of where you're from now means much different things, or will mean much different things. And so, that whole thinking of, as that shifting moves into the immaterial space, into people experiencing in their personal lives mixed reality experiences, and the same type of influences, say, social media has right now in political beliefs and so many other things. Won't kind of get into this from a social media perspective, but that's, the way in which we experience that information is going to grow and shape and shift. And as cost of devices, for example, decreases, because I think right now, obviously, mixed reality is very difficult to see where that's going to go, because the cost to entry, the barrier, so to speak, is very high. But we've seen with smartphones, for devices that are, smartphones are relatively expensive. They've almost become commoditized, because so much of the world has one, right? Like billions of people have phones. And I think as the scale, the manufacturing scale, and the economies of scale from a pricing perspective influence mixed reality experiences, of the technology miniaturizes it, hardens it, makes it easier to consume, that's going to drive adoption and a lot of innovation into the space, which again is going to shape who we are and how we build and how we define who we are. And that whole notion of this place to space, we're defining almost how the experiences we are. That's going to play a role in how brands represent themselves to the other world, because they're going to want to influence that space, and that applies not just to customers, right? Obviously, there's going to be a notion of, how do we influence organizations or individuals to purchase from us? What can we do to be part of their mixed reality? But it's also going to apply to employees, right? Internally, how are we going to drive engagement? Is it going to be the same way as before? Are we going to use email as our primary means of communication? All of the things are going to shift over time. So I'm quite looking forward. I don't know if I'm looking forward to. I'm interested, I think, to see what this journey has in store for us in terms of, where are we going to go, and how will the metaverse and mixed reality experiences and the shift from 2D to 3D, change how we think about things, and actually influence, who we are.